This is Ryan Thompson, Assistant AD for Athletic Communications at Davenport University. And today we're continuing our one-on-one series with some of our head coaches. And today I'm being joined by Chris Esquivel of the men's lacrosse team. How are you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing well.
First question I have for you is, can you describe what life for you has been like since we did our last interview in March?
Yeah, it's definitely been interesting. On our last interview, that was the last week of practice. So we went through, had practice, and then, we got the notification that the guys were going to have to be sent home for the weekend as we transitioned to online learning. And then from there, just kind of adjusting day to day. Some things are kind of similar, just with contact through the emails, text, stuff like that. But just to not to be around the guys, it's a little different. So that was a big adjustment. And then it's really changed kind of recruiting for the last couple months, to be honest.
You know, like you mentioned, you had a handful of games in the spring. Did you guys really get a good idea of how competitive NCAA lacrosse can be?
Yeah, that was something that we definitely got a taste of. Those first 6 games we played were very competitive, and there were some great programs, and it really allowed us to see like the steps we need to take to be competitive in D2. We were really excited when we got back from Colorado, just from how the guys handled all the adversity, how they competed, and we put together some really great practices. And then, unfortunately for everybody, the seasons were canceled, but just returning, basically everybody but some of the seniors, we're really excited to watch the guys compete next year and see how we handle some of those challenges.
Yeah, it kind of leads into my next question, which would be, do you think any of the seniors from your team would return next year?
Yes, I've actually, of the seniors, we have 3 that plan to return and start their masters. For some guys, they had interest in returning, but they had some pretty good job opportunities lined up, and they decided to pursue those. It's just unfortunate for our seniors, all the seniors that kind of missed out on that, especially this group of seniors, because there's the potential for them to play NCAA lacrosse in Michigan at Davenport. And they got to experience some of that, but obviously it's not the way we wanted it to go out.
Oh, absolutely. How has your recruiting efforts been altered, and what areas are you still trying to fill for 2021?
Yeah, so the biggest change is, right now, if we didn't have the pandemic going on, we would be at myself and my assistants. We'd be at different lacrosse games, different showcases, different tournaments. But with those being canceled, what we really relied on is communicating with different coaches, reaching out to more coaches, high school coaches, club coaches, developing a relationship with them, telling them, our philosophies, what we're about at Davenport, and getting that relationship. And through that, they're recommending some kids and sending us some film. And that's been like a big piece of it, is just kind of film breakdown. Lucky for us, just in today's age, a lot of players have like their highlight films up and they update them consistently. That'd be a pretty big challenge if it wasn't like that. So that's probably the biggest adjustment, is just not being able to go out and see those people. We're still able to develop the relationships with the recruits and the coaches. It's just now, through Zoom instead of face to face.
Have there been any major impacts on the lacrosse world due to COVID-19?
Yeah, one of the biggest things, I haven't seen anything really happen at the Division II level. I might be mistaken, but I do know a couple men's programs have folded, just with some of like the financial issues with the athletic departments are facing. And then of course some of the NCAA rules are the proposals for reduction in games. That'll be something to deal with for the upcoming year, but the plan is just to deal with it this year and then get things back on track. But those are the biggest impacts I've seen for that. Another positive thing that I have seen is a lot of coaches have reached out to other coaches and done a lot of coaching education. And I think that's really big for the sport. Usually that kind of stuff happens around like our coaches conference in the winter, but with everybody, itching to be part of lacrosse, there's been a lot of people just putting stuff out there, and it's been really good.
Well, that's fantastic. I know, like for SIDs, we're in the same boat. We're trying to talk to one another and figure out kind of what the new normal is going to be kind of moving forward. How do you think social distancing will be practiced in lacrosse once things ramp up again?
Yeah, I think some issues we'll have to adjust is just kind of some of the ways we do practice. For us, we've always been like really up tempo, a lot of stick work, a lot of full field stuff. So that wouldn't change. But I think some of the in tighter stuff that we would do, we're probably gonna have to get away from that. But as coaches, we're used to taking on challenges and rising above that and adjusting. That's the biggest thing that we gotta do, is just adjust as we go forward with it.
And finally, what would be a message to any recruits that you have coming in about your philosophy and the culture that you want to build?
The biggest thing I would say is, for my personal philosophy, is I strongly believe that practices are for coaches and games are for players. So we want to play up tempo. We want to learn through mistakes. Our practices they're intense, they're competitive, but they're fun. And what I realize, as a coach going through my coaching career, is the only thing I control on game day is who goes out on the field and what schemes we're in. Everything else falls on the players. So it's my responsibility and our coaches to prepare our guys, put them in the best position to have success. And then on game day, the guys play, and we just teach them to have the right response. So we love to play that up-tempo, fast style. And, we're not really big on teaching plays. We're teaching how to play.
I really appreciate your time. That's great insight as to what you're looking for. And stay safe out there, and I'm sure we'll be able to see each other really soon.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
All right, thanks, Chris. And for more on the men's lacrosse program, you can visit dupanthers.com. And for everything on social media, you can search DU Athletics.